Welcome to the Diagnosis. In this edition of the Diagnosis, we will be covering last night's WWE Old School edition of Raw. The show was a 3-hour special that aired on the USA Network last night, and it was a very entertaining show, actually. We'll get to the final grade for it in a little bit later on, but I really did enjoy this show. A nice, nostalgic, throwback feel to it. Um, It'd be nice if WWE did this once a year, but I don't want them to overkill it. So maybe it'd be hard to legislate uh, every 16 months or whatever. But this should be seen again. It was a lot of fun. So I'm not gonna. I was gonna write about it, but I didn't really want to write about a 3-hour show. Figured it'd take up a lot of time. So just do a quick audio review over some of the things I liked about the show. Very strong, entertaining show from the WWE last night. So since I only have 14 minutes left to record this, let's get this started. So right from the beginning, you had the old school feel going on. They had the old um, what do you call it? The old logo pop up. If you have any old videotapes or even DVDs from old pay-per-views, you've seen it. The recognized leader in sports entertainment or whatever it was it's called. Right off the bat, I knew I had a good feeling about this show. They brought out. They had the original graphics from Raw. This that blue and reddish scrolling thing, but they inserted the today's wrestlers in there. Then they had Cole and Lawler do the stand up like Vince McMahon and whoever the color commentator would be did it. Uh, so that was pretty cool. And then what was really cool was how they brought Mean Gene out and they had the interview. What do you call it? Like the interview stage set up off to the side of where the wrestlers walk out. That's how they used to do things back in the day. The show started off with Bob Orton, Randy Orton's dad. Um, basically led to Barrett coming out and The Miz and John Cena and everything. Really didn't really amount to much. Just putting over the match on Sunday between Barrett and Cena. Although I really do think now Miz is going to walk out of Survivor Series with WWE Championship because it makes the most sense. I'll get into that a little bit later on. But so that was that. Then we moved on to Dolph Ziggler took on Mark Henry, who was sexual chocolate Mark Henry. Got a good chuckle out of that. What I liked, again, the old school things that Ziggler had the pre-tape interview before the match started because, that's you watch old episodes of Superstars or Wrestling Challenge, that's how it was. They do a pre-tape interview with the guy that was in the match, talking about something, usually about himself or his opponent. So that was pretty cool. Ziggler beat Henry with the sleeper hold, no big deal. Let's move along here. I'm not going to cover everything, just some of the better stuff or stuff that was interesting. The Hart Dynasty lost to the tag team champions Slater and Gabriel again. This time it was Tyson Kidd costing D.H. Smith the match when he wouldn't tag him. Instead, he kicked him in the face. I really don't like them breaking up the Hart Dynasty, but it just goes to show the way the times are now that this isn't old school and they don't like tag teams because David Hart Smith brought up when they were walking to the ring that his father's tag team with Dynamite Kid and his father, the British Bulldogs. These could be the new British Bulldogs where, obviously David Hart Smith is in the role of the power guy like Davey Boy Smith was, and then you'd have, Tyson Kidd in the role of the Dynamite Kid, I think it could have worked, but, WWE doesn't like tag teams anymore. It's just basically as simple as that. So, eventually, they're going to break up. God only knows what's going to happen with them. Hopefully there's something for them. So then we move on, excuse me. Then you had Gene Okerlund in the control room. Usually this is where they use to hype upcoming cards, pay-per-views. It was in there showing old school WWE merchandise, basically shirts that they're making with old logos on it. I'm probably gonna pick one up for a friend for Christmas. Uh, uh, Hopefully she's not listening, and if she is, it basically just gave it away. So sorry about that, but hey, solid present. Probably gonna pick up one for myself. Although I was shocked to find out that these things are running for $27.99 instead of the standard $25 for WWE T-shirts. But hey, it's probably worth the extra $3. Um, then we come out, we got Howard Finkel doing the announcements. Always love the Fink. Regardless of if you never see him throughout the course of the year, he should announce WrestleMania every year. No offense to Justin Roberts or Tony Chimmel, but it doesn't give you the same big fight atmosphere that WrestleMania should carry unless the Fink is there. That's just me. That's the way I feel. I think the Fink, as long as he's ready to go and he's willing to do it, he should announce every single WrestleMania. It's just my opinion. Brought out the Brooklyn Brawler. Yeah, no big deal. Kind of funny to see him. He got squashed by Ezekiel Jackson. So, that's that. So then we move on to... It was supposed to be John Cena versus The Miz, but clearly that wasn't going to happen. I had a feeling he was going to sub in Riley. He did. He squashed him. Then post-match, you had Orton to come out. He was trying to get at The Miz. Husky Harris and Mike McGillicuddy came out. Orton got rid of them. And then he got into it with Cena. And then, what had happened was, here, another ode to the old school was that they had all the officials from the Outback trying to separate them. You saw Tony Gurria there and then some other guys, but Tony Gurria was a backstage agent. I don't know if he still works there, but anytime the wrestlers got into a fight, he was always out there to break them up. So that was pretty cool. It did get, so then now at the top of the second hour, it kind of got a little annoying that they were doing the opening again. But then they did it again at the top of the third hour. I thought that was a little bit overkill. Then we had the Fink introduce Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik. I did the old Russian national anthem deal. Sheik was never a great technical wrestler, but I was just watching the original Survivor Series, I believe, from '87. And I don't know, I always enjoyed a match that he was in. He was always a big guy, clubbering guys around. I always enjoyed that. Just a quick sidebar. That match at the Survivor Series that I was watching was a 10-on-10 tag team elimination match. 10-on-10. That means there's 5 tag teams on each side. I challenge anybody out there listening to this to find me 4 tag teams that WWE has in their stable right now. And they had 10 in one match. 10. So basically, then we had Santino come out and interrupt. What happened? I'm trying to going over a play-by-play of Raw and forgetting it at the same time. Yeah, he came out. Basically Slick came out. Kozlov sang the national anthem with them. She grabbed the mic. I was waiting for them to cut his mic. They eventually did when he started talking about Hulk Hogan. I thought the Sheik Santino thing would be funny. Nothing really happened, but it was still pretty cool to see everybody there. It led to Santino and Kozlov defeating the Usos to become #1 contenders for the tag team titles. Next, whatever. Then post-match, you had Sheamus beat up everybody. Morrison came out, took out Sheamus. He called Sheamus a bully. Eventually, it went to the back where Morrison got attacked by Sheamus, and eventually now they finally announced those two will be facing each other at Survivor Series. Should be a decent match. I'm actually looking forward to it, even though I won't be watching it. just skipping around here because I'm running out of time. Um, you got Mae Young came out with the Bella Twins basically because I don't know if she could stand up on her own. You know, she got a good pop. She's been wrestling for God knows how long. She said her first match was at 17. She's in her upper 80s now. Uh, Most of the stuff they showed was the raucous stuff that she did from the Attitude Era. Lay Cool came out. They were being really annoying. Uh, Sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. This is one of the times I didn't like them. Uh, May, I loved that. It was so funny that she called them sluts and bitches. It was so great. Uh, Somehow this became a match, a no DQ match for her versus Lay Cool. She slapped Layla pretty good, and then May pinned her, stood on her really to get the win. So that was that. Then we go to the match of the night. This was the best segment of the show, probably the second best. Daniel Bryan beat Jack Swagger, and I gave the match 3 stars. The highlight here was Jim Ross calling the match. Cole, he went into his full heel stick here. You know, a lot of people still hate on Cole, but when he's in this role, he is great. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. When Cole is doing his heel gimmick thing, he's awesome at it. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. You know, I'd like to see him be revealed as the Raw GM and JR come back because JR did not miss a beat. He was still the man. He could still call a match, and I want to see JR back. But it did kind of take away from what was a really good wrestling match between Bryan and Swagger. Actually, Bryan picked up the win with a head kick. Might have kicked him a little bit too close to the ropes, it looked like, but still a great match. After the match, Ted DiBiase showed up and took out Bryan. Apparently, I guess he's going to go for a U.S. title feud here, which would be good for him and do him some good working with a guy like Bryan. So now we go to the main event promo. It was a promo this week at the Piper's Pit. Piper did a great job here putting over how if Cena didn't do the right thing, he'd be spitting in the face of all the guys like Piper who had been legends in the WWE and had never been champion. Let's see here. You know, you had Orton come out. You know, Orton went after Barrett, but Cena actually prevented Orton from giving him the RKO, and then Cena got the RKO. Then he hit the attitude adjustment or the AA, as Cole likes to orgasm on Orton. But I'm kind of rushing along this because I'm at the 13-minute mark here and I have to wrap this up. But this was a great ending. Piper was great. He brought a lot to this segment because he really, really put over how Cena needed to do the right thing and how he would be spitting in the face of everybody that had never been champion, like Mr. Perfect, Rick Rude himself, Ted DiBiase, all greats in this business, and guys that Cena says he respects, that he would be spitting in their face. So that's the end of the show. My new thing is to give a star tonight. It's definitely going to Mae Young for cursing on air, so there you go, Mae. Because she's just so old, what are you going to do? You know, she's 87. My grandma says things that you shake your head at. She's 85. You know, when you get to be that age, it's who gives a fuck, right? That was my old moment there. Last night on Twitter, I said I'd give the show a 6.5, but after reading about it again and going over it, I'll give it a full 7. Good nostalgic feel. Like, good job by WWE. That was a very good performance by them. You know, bringing you back good memories. So, good job by WWE. For anybody wondering, a new Money Mailbag will be coming out Thursday. So, if you're listening to this and you have not put in a question, do so. I got 10 seconds left. So, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Goodbye.